Christmas and welcome back to Simply Home and Harvest. I'm Jen and today I'm excited to show you my Christmas home tour. So I'm going to take you around to some of my favorite spots in the home that I have decorated for Christmas. I hope that you will find some inspiration from this video. I'll try to tell you where I got everything as we go along. Today is just really a preview of what's to come. I plan to show you some Christmas recipes, some Christmas DIY projects, some Christmas gift ideas, some of my favorite things. So if that's something you'd like to see, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. Let me know that you're here so that you won't miss out on any of that content that's to come. So let's get started. This first little area, I think I change up just about every year. This year I decided that I would use it to display this sweet little canvas painting of a church. I picked that up at Walmart either last year or year before last, and I complemented it with a galvanized church that I think also came from Walmart last year, and I just put a string of fairy lights inside of it to keep it lit. I also pulled out part of those lights and wrapped them behind the little glass tree there, and that tree came from Dollar General a couple of years ago. This shelf I've had for a while. I think I got it from Home Interior and recently updated it with a fresh coat of paint. Now we're going to move right next door to it to an old buffet that belonged to my grandparents. Recently I refinished that also, and this probably, if you ask me what my favorite piece of furniture is in our home, this would be it. I love this. I love the history of it, and it's just so special to me. But on this we have a lamp, and the lamp sits on a little wooden trivet, and on that I've got my lighted barn melt warmer. Many of you have asked me about this piece. It came from Walmart. Those trees again came from Dollar General and I think Hobby Lobby. And then this sweet little nativity scene I picked up at Hobby Lobby a few years ago. That tree is also from there, and the wooden star was actually handmade by a local vendor here in town, and I picked that up at one of the craft fairs. Now the lighted garland around it came from QVC several years ago. It was actually a gift from my mother-in-law, and it is on a timer, which makes life so much easier. But I just love this little setup. I love how simple it is, yet so beautiful and majestic. And the sign right beside it, the Good Tidings of Great Joy, that came from Walmart. And it's just sitting on a gold easel that I think was a wedding gift to us over 20 years ago. So a lot of this, I'm just using what I have. I may have purchased a couple of new pieces, but most of what you see is what I have had and just rearranged over the years in my decor. This centerpiece, let me talk about it for just a second, was made out of what I picked up in our backyard. Believe it or not, we have some juniper growing and some other shrubbery, and I just cut some clippings from it, added a few pine cones and a strand of lights, and we actually use this on our Thanksgiving table. So I'm just gonna let that hang out until it can't anymore, but I love that. That was just so easy to make. This sweet little electric fireplace holds a beautiful picture. This is actually one of the last pictures we took as a family when my granny was alive, so it's really special to me. I've got that in a little snowman frame, and then the lighted present and sign there came from Hobby Lobby. Our tree we have had for about, I guess maybe around 15 or 16 years. We picked it up at Walmart back before the pre-lit tree days. I think we paid $80 for it, and it's one of those you have to assemble branch by branch, and every year I say I'm going to upgrade it, and every year we just keep it going. So I love it. I love how big it is and full, and I did hand string all of those lights. I think there are about 1,000 lights on this tree. I made that tree topper for it a couple of years ago, and I just love everything about it. I said this year I think I'm going to change it up and not use the buffalo check ribbon, but yeah, you see that didn't happen. I couldn't help myself. I love last year's tree so much. I wanted to go ahead and just use what I had again. I'm sure all of you would agree how special it is when you start pulling out your ornaments and each one just has a story and a memory attached to it. And it's the same way here. Every year when I pull these out, I'm just so thankful of Christmases past and have some favorite ornaments that I do like to display front and center. But just such special memories. This is one of them. This was actually an ornament my mom gave me for Christmas last year because it reminded her of the days that my brother and I would go out with my dad and cut down a fresh Christmas tree. What wonderful memories. I hold those so dear to my heart. Some of my favorite times for sure. So this is our main tree. We have I think maybe 3 or 4 trees in our home, but this is the one that is displayed front and center in our house and can be seen from the road. So I try to make sure all of our special ornaments go on this tree, and then the other trees we just, have certain themes or ways we like to decorate them. But this one holds most of our cherished ornaments. Right next door, I've got another lighted gift that came from Hobby Lobby, and it's on a stool that I intend to paint white at some point in time, but it just has not happened yet. And then that little sign there was a gift from friends of ours last year. It is handmade, and I just thought that was the perfect little spot for it. Now over to our kitchen. This little snowman salt and pepper shaker was made by a local artist in town. She was actually a vendor set up at a show that I was at last year, and she gave me this. I didn't even know the lady, but she said she felt like I needed to have it. It's got a little sign glued to it that says "Expect Miracles," and it was just such a sweet gesture. So I have kept that in a spot where I could enjoy it. And then this is a new area this year. This truck came from QVC, and I picked up that magnet for it at Hobby Lobby. But this is a new addition. This little guy dragging a freshly cut Christmas tree. I had to get it. It reminded me of those sweet memories of cutting down Christmas trees in the past. I thought this was the perfect little spot for it, since that truck is holding a Christmas tree. And then also that little sign in the back is actually an ornament, and it had that barn scene. Anyway, this is one of my favorite spots in the house. I think it's so sweet, so simple, and I just love it. So I've added some new pieces to our hot chocolate / coffee bar area. This stool and pillow setup is one of them. This stool belonged to my grandmother, and in my last video, I'll link that down below, I showed you how I recovered it and put that black and white buffalo check material on it that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. That pillow was actually a purchase that I made at a local holiday bazaar last week. The lighted present came from Hobby Lobby, and the tree was a set of 2 trees that I picked up on a Black Friday deal at Belk's several years ago. The wreath and that ribbon probably also came from Hobby Lobby. But our coffee bar is still set up a little bit from Thanksgiving that we hosted here a few days ago. That bowl came from Hobby Lobby last year on clearance because it has a chip in it. But I love that bowl. I was using it over on my KitchenAid mixer, but I thought it was perfect to hold some extra K-cups. So that's what it's doing right now. And then our tiered tray, I decided to go with a red and white theme over here. I kept it very simple with just some pops of pine and pine cones. But all these little ornaments and signs, even the mugs, the Santa mug, all of these came from Hobby Lobby. The strand of starlights, I think they came from the Target dollar bin, and they really aren't as yellow as they are appearing on camera. This house was given to me by a friend. It was made by her dad, and I recently repainted it black and white, and I love it. I will probably never move it out of that spot. All right, moving up to the next shelf right above the coffee bar is a sign that was given to me by my cousin and her husband for Christmas last year. Those mugs actually were a gift from our neighbor. There's another set of those down below. That barn with the candle is actually a tree topper that came from the LTD catalog. The trees, I believe most of them either came from Hobby Lobby or Walmart. And the sleigh there that's holding some pine cones, I believe that came from Walmart. The star actually came from Amish Country, Pennsylvania. That was a gift from a friend many years ago. I love the Amish country and the culture and anything that comes from that area. So you'll see a lot of those touches in our home as well. The tree, like I said, I think came from Walmart or Hobby Lobby. The little sign I picked up last year at Hobby Lobby. And that barn lantern came from QVC. It's part of the Valerie Parhill collection. And so is that truck that I showed earlier. That's part of her collection as well. And I think still available on QVC if that's something that you would like to purchase for yourself. Moving on to our family room. This is one of our newer trees. We actually picked it up at a yard sale last year, still in the box. I had always wanted a second tree that was a flocked tree. This was pre-lit and we paid $10 for it, never out of the box. So I'd say we got a pretty good deal on it. It's a 6.5 foot tree, I think. And I have decorated it in more of a vintage style. That little tree topper, I don't even know where it came from, but I've had it for years. But last year I had seen someone else do this. I thought it was adorable. So I went on Etsy and printed out these old vintage flashcards. So the words, that's what they actually are. They're flashcards. And I just filled this tree with a lot of vintage, old-fashioned Santa Claus, old-fashioned hand-spun ornaments, a lot of word ornaments, some of the kids ornaments that my mom gives them every year that are personalized. I added those to this tree, and I just try to keep this space and actually the whole room the Christmas red and green. I've got some touches of navy in there. There's some black and white ribbon that you'll see placed throughout the tree. But I think that it's such a sweet, just old-fashioned, has that old-fashioned Christmas feel to it, and we love it. It's one of the kids' favorites as well. My husband built the base that you see around the bottom of it out of some repurposed wood, and I had wanted something like a tree collar that went on the bottom, and so he made that for me. Once it scans down to the bottom, you'll see it there. On this tree, I'm actually using a piece of fabric as a tree skirt, and that's something that you can consider when thinking about your tree skirts, is to think outside the box. Tree skirts can be very expensive, so using a piece of fabric or a blanket, or in the case of the tree that I showed earlier, that is a blanket scarf. So use what you have, or like I said, think outside the box. This little chair is another one of those special pieces. It belonged to my grandparents, and all of us grandkids sat in it at one point in time, many years ago. I would not dare sit in it now, but that's really special. Thought it was the perfect place to hold our countdown to Christmas. The picture you see in the background there came from Aldi. It's a double-sided picture. That chair the Pampazon chair came from Pier 1, the blanket from Marshall's, and the pillow cover from Amazon, and then the other pillow was a gift from a friend. But love the space, one of our favorites for sure. I hope you have enjoyed this little Christmas tour of some of the areas in our home. I love this time of year. I love everything that it stands for. And of course, we believe in our home that Jesus is the reason for the season, and we honor him and we celebrate his birth during this season. Decorating doesn't have to be stressful. You can keep it simple by using the things you have and the things that are the most special to you. So until next time, remember to live simply, use what you have, and enjoy the moments you've been given. Merry Christmas, friends. Bye for now.